everyone? How am I coming through? Everything sounds good? Just checking. Let me just make sure the live is working. So, everyone, hello. Welcome to my, what's today, Tuesday? Welcome to the Tuesday night stream. I have some comic work I should do, and I'm going to get to that. I have a Black Marrow page and a client page that I have to do. But I also wanted to paint. I don't know where I need to go with this tonight because I wanted to show you guys, for anyone who's interested, I'm going to be showing the current portfolio that I've been sending out to some groups, some companies. Basically, I've been doing comics for a long time, and I've been wanting to start doing some more painting again. It's been a while since I did that. I was doing concept art for this company in New York years before I went pro in comics, and I don't know. I've been aching to paint. My painting has improved a lot, so I've been wanting to do more illustration. And so over the past year, I've been kind of building up my illustration portfolio, and I settled on like 6 or 7 pieces that I really like. So I'll show you guys. This is what I've been sending out, and I actually ran it past Dan because I've been working in comics for so long that I'm like a little bit like, and I really hope my sense of what a good painting is hasn't faded, you know. So I sent it to Dan, who's a friend of mine, and I sent it to another artist I know for feedback, and they were like, the paintings look great. And he actually felt like the 1 or 2 of the people that I was reaching out to, he said that I was a little bit above in terms of skill level. He's like, you should, you know, he didn't say aim higher, but he was like, you're like, it was very nice. He said like, you're probably better than most of the applicants. So that led me to believe that even if I don't, you know, hear back from them, I should keep sending out my painting portfolio, because I don't know, I've always wanted to do art for board games and for RPGs and stuff like that. I got into comics at a young age in my 20s, and then it was just like for years doing that. So, but something about getting really good at drawing, like draftsmanship, getting better at that has made painting so much easier. Like I fly through paintings now. Hold up, I don't want to NDA myself while I open up this last piece that I wanted to bring here. Okay. So this was the piece that I uploaded on Patreon. So for anyone who's a patron who is a member of my Patreon, I uploaded. I'm gonna start doing this more often. I'm gonna upload full layered files, like PSD files, so that you can see how I do this, the process and everything, and get a sense of how I apply filters and all that. And so this was a piece that I just kind of was screwing around with. This was me. I drew this in Procreate, playing with some really cool craft tones and brushes, and sort of a sci-fi elf, I think is what I named the file. These are all textures that I added in after drawing it. Holy, so many textures. Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, I was gonna add this too, but then I thought maybe that's too busy. But now I kind of like it. Now I think it adds something fun to it. So you can see here, this was a different style than some of the other pieces. This is basically comic art. It's like line art and color. And I was going for a kind of 90s, 80s OVA kind of anime feel to it. I really wanted to feel like old school anime with like a VHS anime that you saw as a kid. And I really want to start doing more art like that because it feels so good to draw like that. Like I really enjoy the two-tone animation style and just getting it like all these filters and comic tones and stuff. I see more people funneling in, but the chat's not very active. Okay, well, anyway, so this was a piece that I started with. I just kind of was screwing around, wanting to play with these new brushes. You can see the craft tones, like you see these little dots. Those are half tones. I got all these at True Grit Texture Supply, and then you see some of this stuff here. These cracked filters. You can get that from LP Traditionalizer, which is a very famous brush set that's all over now. But you know, once you're done painting and you get your renders and everything, and your anatomy and your drawing is all set, and you get the colors in, the filters come after. People shouldn't be dropping in filters too early. You know, you gotta get confident in the fundamentals first. That's what I would say to anybody who's trigger happy on their filters. What's up, Nim? Lone Wolf, how you doing, man? Lone Wolf, Nim, and hello to all the lurkers. Yeah, it adds a bit of fun contrast, I guess. You're right. So this is actually not a piece I use for my illustration portfolio. I just wanted to show you guys, because those of you that are patrons, you now have the full layered file, so you can play around with it. You know, do what you want. You can pee all over it, burn it, use it to put a hex on me. Don't do that. So this was a piece that I did for. It's actually a piece of comic art, but it was recommended to me that I use it for my illustration portfolio because so much of my comic art is like basically paintings. Like I render it so much that it's like almost a painting. So even though technically this is line art and color, it's like it kind of functions as a piece of concept art or an illustration, frankly. So I uploaded it, used it to my portfolio, showing off my creature design, things like that. This is another piece, similar in my judgment of it. Technically it's line art when you get close to it, but if you really look at it from a distance, it actually just reads as a painting, kind of, you know. You guys have seen this one, I'm sure, you know. Here, I'll zoom in on the other. I'm going through these too fast. Look at that beautiful face. Again, I like using a lot of these textures. So, so this one, this is one of the first ones I really did on the stream this past year. This was after I looked at a lot of Matt Rhodes art, and after watching Matt Rhodes draw, something in me wanted to do like a really design-heavy thing, you know, something that was really unique and weird and different, you know. This is a piece that, if I can be immodest, this is like my favorite thing that I've drawn in the past year or so. I just really enjoyed this so much. This was done entirely in Procreate on the iPad. Really loved this character, and like I kind of want to do more stuff with characters like this. This kind of, it's very like Ian McCaig inspired, you know. I really was borrowing from his sense of design and his characters, the way he arcs their faces and just kind of like gently renders them. I don't know, there's something about the way he draws that just, it's like somehow a sketch and a painting. And there's always like a smelliness to it in a nice way, like where you can imagine this character's like the texture of their clothing, you know, something cozy about it. So yeah, I just kind of drew this on the couch during this was last winter in a snowstorm. It was snowing out, and looking at the snow, I was like, I'll do a warm-up sketch, and then it just turned into this, and then I ended up rendering the whole thing in like a couple of hours. Really like this piece. I actually wanted to hang it up in my house, but my wife said that his eyes are too spooky. Or her eyes, I don't know. I actually thought she could be female. The arms are a little, the arms seem more male, like the big hands, but the face could be construed as somewhat feminine. But anyways, yeah, I like this one. This is a piece that I don't think I did this one on stream, but I've shown you guys this before. This is like another one that I wanted to show I could paint medieval armor, you know, Templar stuff. This one, I actually painted this one in Krita. Not entirely. I did some of it in Krita, and then some of it in Clip Studio, and then some of it in Procreate. I was like all over the map, just trying every damn thing I could because but I really like doing the undersketch portion in Krita. There's something about it where it just comes out really, really fun. It just flows, you know. So yeah, I used Krita in the beginning for the shape and the silhouette and the initial details, and then finished painting it out, the Templar Knight, in a lot of it was done in Clip. This is a different style. It's like not as tight as some of the others. It's a little more like when you zoom in, it just becomes really gestural, like the shape of his hand. It's just like a lot of it is implied. It feels a little bit sketchy, but I think it has enough energy in it that it might work as a full illustration, I hope. Oh, thanks, Nim. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Oh, you're working on your replacement hat. Well, what happened to the first hat? Did I miss something? Oh man, you must have sent me a DM that I missed, Nim. Lone Wolf says, awesome. On the head draws as you're streaming. I decided that Manfa is easier for me, so I'm back on that. What's Manfa? Is that a typo? Did you mean to say manga? So, yeah, this was a recent piece, but here's what's funny. So, I'm about to show you the first painting that I think I did, really the first digital painting I did ever, which was about a year ago, where I had just started painting digitally because I had only ever painted analog, and then I started drawing digitally, doing comics, and then I did my first digital painting, and it was this. God knows why I wanted to do something spooky. And many of you have probably never seen this because I wasn't streaming at the time. I was just trying something. It's this like... It's like spooky hag with surrounded by little fairies in a haunted wood. It's very different than my usual work. It's very like desaturated and kind of... Yeah, Johnny was there for this. Johnny was one of the first people that I ever like spoke to in my life. No, like on the internet. And I added some improvements to it. I added some more textures and some fun stuff to make it feel more painterly, but generally it's the same. Yeah, this is like the hag. It's like she's growing out of this wooden thing. It's such a weird image, and I just kind of painted it while being like, I can't paint. And it just kind of came together. This was like my first painting, really. You can see all these, and it's got imperfections, but I think it's got such a weird personality to it that I figured I should include it. And this is like before I really knew how to use Clip Studio, so there's a lot of things that I just started playing around with and just not expecting anything to happen. Like I painted her hair and the wood, and then I just started using the morph tool to just move all the wood around so it had these stranger shapes. And if I were to mess with this, I probably would add some things in the foreground here, but I don't know if I want to cover up this nice shape. And then there's this one. Check the chat. Yeah, Nim, please show us the hat when it's done. Oh, thank you. Lone Wolf says awesome works of art, right? Thanks, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, if you're doing manga, please share. I've been interested in doing kind of like anime manga style stuff recently. I've been doing a lot more like two-tone comic art. I've been really enjoying it, especially that I have these textures and filters now that can make things look like old OVAs. The Tinkerbells are scheming, I do believe. Yeah, there's a scheme quality too. Yeah, it's funny because you don't know who's the good guy in that painting. Like, are they bothering this poor hag? Or is she luring in these innocent fairies? Before I go to this one, so when I actually painted this is, like I said, it was like my first painting. My first painting, really, and I thought it would be a part of a series. I thought, oh, it would be cool if I did like a series of paintings of these little fairies going to different places in this like post-dystopian, like really dreary, dark fantasy landscape, and they would just be like going to different creatures seeking wisdom. So it would be like different huge, comparatively huge creatures. So it's like the hag of the wood, and she's like growing out of this tree root. And I thought, like, oh, what if there was like a wise old troll under a bridge who's this massive creepy troll thing, you know, like. And it was just going to be a series of paintings to show my design, to show my sense of design. And then I did this one piece, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I got a bunch of comic commissions and work that I needed to, to do to support myself. So, and then when I came back to painting, I wanted to do stuff like this, which is a little different. So this is one I just finished a few weeks ago, I should say. And many of you have seen this. I started this in Procreate. I actually did this part, like his rendering in Procreate. Some of you were there to see it. A lot of this I ended up finishing in Clip Studio, especially this part here. I was so excited when this piece started coming together. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe this is that. I had this moment of being like, oh, I can actually do the stuff I want to do. Like, if I want to paint this, I actually can. I don't have to like compromise on what, this was done in Krita. This whole thing was Krita sketched out and then rendered more in Clip Studio. This was an old, because if you look at the sketch, it's very different. But I remembered I had this just sitting there. It was a PNG. This was something I had drawn it in pen and ink. Digital inked it digitally. And it was just a PNG for a sketch for these two, and I really liked it, and I was like, oh, this can be their final design. So I dropped that PNG in, and then I started it was just line art and color, and I started painting it into a painting because I thought it would fit much better here, and it did. And then once that happened, the whole piece came together, and it's maybe my favorite thing that I painted in a while. I was very happy with it. It's in my portfolio. It's the most ambitious thing I've painted. Like, I haven't really painted something with this many characters and this like scale. And look at that guy's face. Ooh, it's a pretty boy. I had a lot of fun doing this city, and yeah, just zooming in and getting crazy with it. So that's the portfolio. I wanted to show you guys this because, as someone who's been doing this for a living for a few years, this is kind of how you assemble your portfolio. I have like 20 paintings, but I didn't choose all. I chose my best, like 6 or 7. People think you got to send them all of your best work, and it's like, you want to send your absolute best. You don't want to, necessarily show them the stuff that you did, like that if you're seeing a ton of flaws in the work to the point where you're like, ugh, embarrassed by it. Sometimes it's just you being nuts because you're an artist, and sometimes it's because you have better work that you can send. So this is for anyone, because I get a lot of questions about portfolios and stuff, and how to break in, and I've been doing this professionally for almost 10 years, and I don't know that I've ever really broken in. I've just been like doing the job by just taking as many gigs as possible. But I don't know. I've never felt like I'm on the inside of anything. But maybe that's just imposter syndrome. I don't know. A friend of mine was like, well, you're established. It doesn't, it's like, maybe that's what it means. But Yeah, so people ask me questions about like, how do I get here? And I was like, I don't know. I just kind of kept drawing until people bought my stuff. But I want to help out more and show you guys. I want to be able to show something so that I can give people a sense of what they can do to, to get work. And I'll let you know. I'm going to be sending my portfolio out to. I have some connections of people I know from different places, so I can send out my work to them and see if they're interested. But I have a lot of comic work to do. I got clients waiting, so I guess I'll break that one in next. I really like this piece. It's so different than the others. I can't really use it for an illustration portfolio like the ones I've been doing because it's so comic art, and for some reason some of these people, they just want paintings. But man, I want to do a lot of stuff like this. What I want to do is stuff like on this scale, right? Like with this type of epic movie poster, 100 characters thing. But I want to do stuff like in this style where it looks like a big cover to some cool ass, some crazy anime from the 90s that you didn't even know existed, where it's like just full of stuff like that. I want to do stuff like that. I think that'd be really, really satisfying and fun. So hopefully that's on the table. Let's check the chat. Oh, thanks, Nim. Broken Blade, I'm glad you could make it, man. Nim says that the finished effect on that piece is crazy cool. Thanks. You mean this one, the one I'm on right now? Or do you mean a different one? I'm assuming you mean this one because it has definitely has more of a filter on it than anything else I've shown. It's like very, almost too much, but I can't help it. All right. So this is a comic page I'm working on. This is one panel that I fully rendered here for this creepy guy. I do want to work on Black Barrel tonight too if I can get through the inks for this, but I may end up just working on this tonight because Ryan needs a paycheck. Getting close to the end of the month, I gotta get paid. Have any of you guys ever watched Garth Marenghi's Dark Place? Because I thought maybe it would be fun for Halloween season to put on some Garth Marenghi's Dark Place while I draw. Maybe not tonight, maybe a different night, different day. But man, if you haven't seen it, it is hysterical. And it's on YouTube for free. So I think I could probably watch it without getting, copyright struck. That and I really want to do something I did last time, which is old episodes of Art Bell, of Ghost to Ghost AM. Hey, what's up, Gross Girl? I knew Gross Girl was gonna know Garth Marenghi. There's no way. There's no way that Gigi doesn't know. That's like exactly the kind of thing. So yeah, I think I might want to. Would you think that'd be fun if I just like played some Garth Marenghi at some point when I was in a stream for Halloween month? Oh, but tomorrow tomorrow Dan and I are doing our Merlin watch stream. Finally, we've been talking. Dan and I have been talking about doing that for probably since we first became friends, like over a year ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know how long I've known him. It was like one of the first things we talked about, and he was like, "We should do a stream where we watch Merlin." I was like, "Yeah," and then we just like didn't do it until now because we're both overwhelmed and not great schedulers. But I'm looking forward to it. I actually haven't really seen it. I've only seen a few scenes of the Merlin TV series. Starring what's-his-face from Jurassic Park and Mountains of Madness. No, not, what is it? Not Mountains of Madness. That John Carpenter movie. It's not Mountains of Madness. It's somebody help me. It's very rare I don't know the name of the movie. So I'm going to show you guys how I get that kind of two-tone look. When you want it to kind of get this like, because I've been experimenting to see how I can do it, and in terms of the rendering style, this is kind of built on a combination of like old school comic like newsprint pages and the like anime look that I really like. And so I've been kind of messing around with stuff until I got it, and I'll show you the process. Okay. I'm getting there. It's also, I wouldn't say necessarily it's strictly the anime look, it's also kind of old comic print look, but I really like it. And the client for this particular gig is a really good guy. He's become a really good friend. And he gives a lot of freedom. If I tell him I want to try something, he's like, yeah. He's like, so long as it's somewhat consistent with the rest of the book, if you want to try a weird thing, go for it, you know. He's been pretty cool like that. He's not a miser. He's not like, because there are some clients I've had where it's like, if you try to do anything remotely interesting, they're like, I don't like it. Can it look like everything else I've ever seen? And you're like, okay, fine. I'll just relegate myself to the annals of history where I will be forgotten among many other hundreds of freelancers. But I am thankfully at a point in my career where if somebody's really being a pain in the ass that way, where they're like not letting me try anything new, I can just be like, you know what? God bless. I think you need a different artist. That's actually happened a couple of times with different clients. Not this client. This client's great. And don't get me wrong, a client is definitely allowed to say no to ideas. I'm not saying it's like my way or the highway. But I've had clients where, in recent years, where like, it's like they just, if an idea did not come from them, they don't want it. And they give a lot of input that makes the art like worse. They just don't know how, like they don't understand how the medium works. So they like, no, can we do this angle? And then they pick the most generic looking images, and it's just like, I'm trying to do something good. And it's like, do you want to be the head honcho in charge of everything, or do you want to have a good comic on your hand? It's like, and that's the problem with a control freak, is that it's not like, because this is a pet peeve of mine. It's when control freaks call themselves perfectionists. They go, oh, it's a flaw of mine, I'm a perfectionist. It's like, they're really, when they're saying that, they're patting themselves in the back, kind of, because it's like, perfectionist means you're trying to make everything better. It's actually, you're not a perfectionist, you're a control freak. You just want to be in control of it. If you're not making it better, you're making it worse. And that's something that I dealt with for years, and now it's happened once or twice in recent years where I had a client who was like really, really a nightmare, and I just quit. And not even in a mean way. I was like, hey, you know what? I think you need someone else, you know? And I had one client who actually was pretty rude, and he was offering me like $8,000. Like $8,000 for this gig, you know, a long-term gig. It was like going to be like a few months, but still $8,000 overall is a fair amount of money for a few comic pages that I could, you know, pop out. And he was just like being just a prick, and like he was very curt with the way he spoke to me. And I'm not a prima donna, so I'm a pretty straightforward blue-collar person, you know. But I didn't like, he just had an attitude. He was being very annoying and kind of like rude. And he like showed me the work of another artist specifically to trash them and be like, look at how bad this was. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't like his vibe. So I was just like, you know what? I don't think I want this gig that badly. And then he tried to like apologize and was like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. And I was like, no. It's fine. I'm sure there's someone else who's going to be right for this, but it's not me. And I didn't want it. And that was a good feeling, because if this had been 10 years ago, I would have had to like basically deal with this shitty person, you know. And it's nice when you get to a point in your career where you don't have to like take every gig that comes your way. In most situations, I would say be happy to get work, because most clients really aren't that bad. Most clients are okay, you know. And they're offering to pay you for your work, so always be polite, be grateful, be kind. But don't let anybody treat you like poop, because you matter, and you are loved, and you are nobody's punching bag. All right, so now I'm going to show you how I do, let me check the chat. I'm going to show you how I do this process. Are you talking to me, Gigi, that you're down to chat, or are you talking to someone else? I'll send you an invite if you want. Let me know if I'm the one you're talking to. So, I've now done, I've created a multiply layer. I put the multiply layer underneath my ink layer. Now I'm using this for the two-tone shadow. So now, all those shadowy places that were suggested in the ink phase, I am now validating. I'm satisfying the shadow. Yeah, are you going to be around in like, yeah, let me, once I'm done with this, I can definitely chat, Gigi. Sorry, I got into a bit of a flow. You're right. But if you're going to be around in like 7:40, oh my God, it's already been 40 minutes. Jesus, I talk so much, you guys. We started at 7:10, I think. And about 20 minutes of that was me just droning on. So sorry. Yeah, if you'll be here in a few minutes, let me just show this panel, and then I'll bring you on if you're still around, Gigi. Is that okay? I just don't want to break flow just yet because I want to get this guy crack-a-lackin'. Also, sometime maybe this week or next week, Gigi, I wanted to finish I wanted to do another episode of the portfolio stream because we didn't get to everybody. You, me, and Dan, we only got to a few people. And I know Jacobo and Nim and who else did we not get to? Well, I got to check the Discord. There was a bunch of people that submitted, and I really need to check that again because I know you guys have been waiting. It's been like a while, a few weeks now. Yeah, I think Madara, do you mean our friend from, I think he's from Scotland? I think he was the first guy that we actually looked at his work. If that's what you're asking, Broken Blade. Oh, I'm so glad Gigi has a remedy for the 4-draw issue. Yeah, you gotta... Yeah. The overdraw issue, you gotta help us with that because my boomer ass did not know what to do. Broken Blade says this looks like a still from a 90s anime. Are you saying that because of what I was saying earlier, Broken Blade, or like I can't tell if you're joking because I literally maybe you missed it because you came in a little late, but I was literally saying a few minutes ago that the process I'm showing is how I do this the 90s anime look because that's something I've been doing. So this was a panel I was showing people. This is a panel I already completed, just to give an example of the look I go for, and I'm going for something that's like a cross between classic, newspaper print comics. From the 70s, 60s, 80s type of thing, and then some of the shading and rendering style would feel like Vampire Hunter D or one of those great, really intensely detailed animes with that VHS look. I just love it so much. And I got all these new filters that I've been wanting to play around with because you can get that look now after you're done drawing it. You can just add these great effects that give it that feel. That's the shit that excites me. Pardon my French. Okay, so now we have our multiply layer. Now we're going to add our base level color. So this character in this story that I'm working on for this client, it's been really fun because he's like it's a cool, like, he's like a traveling, this guy has an ensemble of characters, and this one he's like a heroic knight who gets into these crazy adventures, and he's written as being like kind of like a ranger, you know, so he's always like kind of a mess. So he has this armor that he kind of doesn't take off, and it's just filthy in a lot of ways because it's so well traveled, you know, so it's all marked up and scuffed, and it's very plain because he doesn't care about, you know, frou stuff. Okay. The interesting problem is making sure there's enough color variation in him. So now we have our baseline color. Then I add another layer of multiply, another multiply layer where I'm going to add kind of like an ambient shadow. And for that I use a clipping mask and a multiply layer and just magenta tones like this. There you go, just a little bit here and there. I don't know if you can see it. It's very subtle. Okay, so that was that, and great. Then I'm adding some highlights, just a regular just a normal layer, and I'm going to use an inking pen because I want them to be sharp. I want it to be like, it's going to be some white highlights just to kind of give everything a bit of that feeling I want. On the metallic surfaces, like his sword is kind of catching the light a little bit. Now the way I draw the highlights is kind of like the same way I do the inking, like, because I'm using an inking pen. So what I want is for it to feel really sharp and very detailed, so that it feels the way it would look if you were looking at, you know, kind of like an anime. I'm very into the anime look right now. I don't know what happened this week. I think it was after I did so many paintings, like the paintings I showed you guys at the beginning of the stream. After working on that and like all of my art getting more and more painterly, even my comic art, I'm like, oh man, I just wanted to do something that was like totally different for a bit. Okay, so now I take this highlight layer, I'm going to duplicate it, so now there's two of them, and now the one on top I'm going to add Gaussian blur. Just a little bit, and then I'm going to combine those, and I'm going to go above the ink layer, right? I'm going to the layer above it. And I'm going to use some of these textured kind of brushes to give like a glint so that it shows up above the inks, so that it really pops. Now I'm just using the eraser tool to shape that glint a little bit so it's not just overwhelming. Feels like it has some personality. It's not just like a circle popping on top. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Okay, so I know this process is a lot. There's a lot to absorb, but so this is my multiply layer, right? This is where I have my shadow. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a layer above the multiply layer and then use a clipping mask. That binds this layer to the one beneath it. So what I'm doing now is I am going to select these new toys that are Zipatone. These are like comic tones. And I can do it at not a full opacity, you know. There's just different halftones that I got from, where did I get these from? You can get, there's a bunch of different kinds you can get. You don't have to really get it from any particular place if you want to buy brushes. We're going to find the right one. See that? Here, I'll zoom in so you can see it. So now it's only showing up where I want it to. And I've been using the stripe ones, but there's also dot ones that I like. And I'm putting it in the places where I already have shadow. Just to give it more depth and stuff. And just a little bit of grit. A little bit of that newsprint feel. So there's also dots which I can add, and now I can actually go to there you go, soften that just a little bit, and now I can go to the regular color layer and I can use the dots to make like almost like highlights. Which I may not keep these because there might be too many dots, but just that Zipatone look. Maybe if I lower the opacity on them quite a bit. Thanks, guys. Oh, I want to hear all about this, Gigi. I can't wait. Thanks, BB says. So it is intentional. Okay, it's working. I appreciate it, man. I was... Oh, the red on that creepy guy's face. Yeah, no, I am doing the halftone layer. You're right, I am doing the halftone. No, so Gross Girl, you're still coming through as Drowned Pirate. I miss your other name. Hey, what's up, Jacobo? I was just talking about you. I was just saying when we do our next crit stream, we're gonna continue what we left off with you, because I think you were someone we didn't get to in the crit stream. So when we do the next one, we're gonna have you on. You know what, guys? Let me try. Continue. I'm gonna try doing the highlights in the same. Yeah, I think it's better if the highlights are also striped like that. I think it's like, because now it fits. It fits with the others. Yeah, that looks cool. That's what I want. Great. So we're almost done with this, I promise. I might need to change the colors because right now it's a baseline, but I might need to change it to something warmer because they're in like a cave where the whole cave is lit by firelight. So let me see. Thing is, my screen is on like night mode, so my sense of color is probably off, but try it this way. Yeah. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Okay, so now we have some more things to do on this. We've got all of this the way we want it. So now I've collapsed everything into one color layer underneath the ink files. So with this one, you see how it's got that texture? I'm gonna go here, back to this guy. And now above the inks, I'm going to do another clipping mask with a new layer. And I'm going to select these craft tones I got here. Where are they? Reveal yourselves to me. Yeah, here. These are designed. So these are also from True Grit Texture Supply. So it's, yeah, there's different types that basically they make the ink look kind of distressed, like it was done in like a cheap printer or that it was like an old comic. There you go. You go like that. Then I'm going to lower the opacity so it's not overpowering. Boom. Love it. It's coming through just like I want. So I'm going to collapse that back into the ink layer. And I'm going to do one more layer of filter. And you guys, nobody has to do all of this. I know that this is like a crazy process. It's like for all this, I might as well just paint the whole thing. But I'm just really into this process right now. So the last thing is I'm going to do one more layer. I'm going to use a traditionalizer brush. Like, you don't have to do all this to get that effect. This is my way of doing it because I'm a little bit nuts. And when you're using this, you can use a color that doesn't even make sense because you just want to add a highlight to the whole thing that gives, not even a highlight, just like a weird, crazy texture that just gives it a personality that it wouldn't have otherwise. There you go. And this is the kind of stuff that honestly almost nobody's going to notice. It's the kind of thing you do just for yourself, really. And there you go. I think it was done more successfully here because I inked it a little bit more thin and loose, which works better for this style. Here it's a little more, this looks more like Western comic, less anime, because it's thicker, chunkier, kind of robust inks, but the textures are still really fun. And so normally this process, it wouldn't take this long. The reason it's taking a long time is because you don't really do one panel at a time. You draw the whole page and then you do the colors and everything, and then you kind of like mess with the filters after. But I'm doing it differently because I really wanted to play with the filters. So, but yeah, there you have it. That's how I do that. Any questions? Broken Blade is a much better name than Quixotic Bastard 83. It's too much. I am in fact the first artist for the first comic that this guy has done. He is a novelist. He's got some. He's published some novels based on his work. But yeah, I believe that's it. This is a, excuse me. This is a comic adaptation of his work, of his novels. And he found me through Black Marrow. He was a fan of Black Marrow and was like, hey, can I hire you to draw this? And I said, si, senor. Black Mirror was a thing of mine that he read that I think got him to want to hire me, but I also feel like maybe the King Arthur stuff was something that really pushed him, because he was, you know, he's doing like high fantasy knights and monsters and stuff, and that fits, you know, that bill quite a bit. So I'm trying to balance it out, getting time to work on this and Black Mirror, plus all my 100 million other client gigs that I'm trying to work on. But yeah, I plus putting together that portfolio, all those paintings for which I haven't even been paid yet. Guys, if I didn't work fast, I wouldn't be able to do this for a living, because it's just I just don't know how. I don't know how anybody does this while working at a normal human pace. It's like I have to draw like there's a gun pointed at my head. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. How did that happen? I mean, don't get me wrong, by the way, I don't mean to sound like I don't love what I do. I do love my job, and I really enjoy it. I'm just remarking on drawing comics. You got to draw so fast sometimes. But I don't know. I think I'm also wrong about that, because there's plenty of really successful comic artists who really take a long time to work. I guess they just, I mean, their page rates must be much, much higher than mine. because I work, but my flow, my flow is much closer to a comic book artist from like the 50s, where they were just like cranking out pages like coked up bunny rabbits. Just and they weren't working digital, so I can't even. It's crazy to be. They were so good. So after I'm done with this string of pages I got to get done so I can get paid, I'll go back to working on Black Marrow for a couple of weeks because it's moving slow. I don't like how slow it's moving. I want to get Black Marrow done by January, and I'm past the halfway mark. Like, I realized how close I was. I'm much closer to being done than I thought, which is really exciting. And it's going to be the page count that I need it to be. It's not going to be too long. It's going to be, it might even be a little bit shorter than book one in terms of the story itself. Well, no, in terms of the story itself, it's longer than book one, but in terms of the actual physical page count, like as extra stuff, it might be a little shorter, which means that if I want to charge the same amount for that book, I can actually add any kind of production art. Which brings me to this other thing I was thinking was that, so the cover that I did live, where I drew the whole thing analog, I might make that the back cover, and for the front do a painted cover, or I might turn that initial illustration that I was talking about, the one I did live, into like a something that appears in the issue, like between, you know, how I use chapter headings and sometimes to like separate sections of it, and I might instead do a second cover in addition to the one you guys saw me draw. That might be like I was thinking maybe a wraparound cover, like a big, because I've wanted to do wraparound covers and I didn't get to do it on book one. And I wanted to do maybe a cover, a wraparound cover that would be kind of like, so that big poster I did with all the superheroes, that painting where it's like tons of characters. I think I want to maybe try doing something like that in terms of layout for Black Marrow 2. Different vibe because it's spooky horror stuff, but like I was thinking it'd be really cool to do like a big Black Marrow painting with all the characters and the train, the Rutilant Express, you know, just like a big epic thing, you know. I think that might be really fun. What do you guys think of that idea? Should I do it? I feel like you're gonna say yes. I feel like whenever I am like, I don't know, should I do this crazy thing that's gonna take absorb my life force but might look really cool? People are like, do that thing. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's making me, I'm getting amped just thinking about it. And also, I know some of y'all in this chat and some people on Instagram who follow my work were like kind of pissed that I didn't do the Pantheon painting, is what I'm calling it. The superheroes that I didn't do, most of it I didn't do in a live stream. I did it off stream because I just was like in a groove and I didn't want to, and they expressed some disappointment that I didn't live stream it because they were like, I would have liked to have seen how this happened, which I took as a compliment, but I could also feel the impatience and the betrayal in their voice of like, why didn't you stream this? And I'm sorry I didn't. I'm sorry. So my option to make it up to you guys might be to do the Black Marrow 2 cover, a similar type of cover, painted, big bold painted cover, wraparound on a stream. What do you say? Also, anybody watching, please give the video a like. Everybody, help me out because it really makes a difference, and I'm gonna keep being a baby about it. Okay, we're in agreement. The wraparound cover. All right. And can I get a vote in the chat for who wants to do a stream where we watch Garth Marenghi's Dark Place together while I'm drawing? Because I learned how to put YouTube videos up there. So. You know what, guys? I'm getting a little tired, so before I end the stream, I'm going to stream a little longer, but before I do, I think I would like to get started on that wraparound cover. I think I just want to start it. Might be tripping a little bit, but just talking about that cover, I got excited. So let me just get to a good stopping place here and then maybe jump into that. I heard that name. I heard the shrill sound. All right, let me just save this. This is what we got done here. I like how this panel came out. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay. Please hold. I'm trying to find the correct proportions for a wraparound cover template. Okay, let's I'm gonna just jump in and hope it's the same. I'm trying to decide if I should start in Krita or in Clip Studio for the sketch phase, because they're both really good for that. Okay, so we're gonna like put together our layout. I'm gonna tell you what I've been picturing. I've been picturing Black Marrow obviously in the front, with Canterbury and Mrs. Fairchild. And as a wraparound, maybe the train going from the front cover to the back cover, like following the train, and on the width of the train you see other things. My initial idea was actually going to be the full wraparound cover was going to be like a wide shot, like a wide screen from a Western of Black Marrow riding his horse next to the train, because that's a scene coming up toward the end of the action sequence. Of him riding next to the train, because it's and then through all the windows of the train you see the different characters. But something about that it felt very kind of cute, but it didn't have the scope that I was looking for, the feeling of like, epic, cool movie poster. It felt more like I might do an image of that as a double page spread in the issue. And actually, what am I saying? I have to do that. But I think it works better as a spread in the book rather than a cover. I think for the cover it'd be fun to just put a bunch of characters doing cool stuff. So what I'm going to do also is this. I'm going to open the Pantheon poster that I have, and I'm going to keep it. This is what I do when I am proud of something. I'm going to keep this poster here, and I'm going to refer back to it if I ever feel like I'm getting too tight and I want to loosen up, because this was this is a reminder for the goal for what I want to do with the Black Marrow cover. I want the Black Marrow cover to feel like this, which means I have to keep looking at this to remind myself what I'm going for. If I feel like I'm straying too far from it and getting into a different thing, because I want this feeling, but I want it with Black Marrow. It's like a mood board. Obviously, it's going to have a totally different color spectrum, because it's this is very like a lot of warm colors in this poster. It's meant to feel kind of nostalgic, and like you feel like this is a superhero movie you want to see. It's got all these bright colors. The Black Marrow one's going to be like a lot of blues, like deep cold blues and greens, and maybe some warm colors, but they're going to be kind of really dramatic warm. It's actually, the color palette is probably going to be a lot closer to this portion of the poster, where I use the red as the highlights and the greens on the other side, and that's what I want to do. And I want to do shots of the monsters, the Simonde brothers, with this level of detail. I want to get this type of I'm just saying it out loud so I know where my own head is at. Okay. Surprise, we're in credit now, baby. Alright, I'm just going to jump in. I might be quiet for a bit, but I'm just going to start working and see if it doesn't suck. Grapes of Wrath is an incredible book. I'm glad you're reading it. I'm surprised I feel like this is the kind of book you probably would have read already. I'm just figuring out this pose. That's what you're. That's why I keep erasing. I'm trying to see if I can. Because so, cover 1, he didn't have his scythe. It was his revolver. But this one, I really wanted to showcase the scythe as like his main feature. Because the climax of book 2 is him fighting this guy on top of the train using a scythe. It's like, you know. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's actually probably more articulate than I was when I first said that, broken blade. But it is like you're kind of the chrome brush. It's like a pencil. You're like rendering. If you try to do line art, it's not quite as good as just rendering the image like in volume. And sometimes I have to remember that, but. Okay, this pose is starting to really work for me, and I know you. Oh no, I'm so sorry, you guys. You didn't even. I switched over to. I'm so sorry. I switched apps to Clip Studio, and for some reason, it wasn't showing. It wasn't showing what I was drawing. But it looks like the chat was otherwise entertaining. You guys are talking to each other. Nobody noticed. I was wondering why it wasn't switching on the main computer, and it's because I forgot I had both Krita and Clip Studio open. So for a few minutes there, you guys weren't seeing anything I was doing. It's annoying. Sorry. We almost had an accident-free stream. It's been this many days without incident, and it just goes back down to 0. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm really starting to love this pose for the cover, and then I look and it's like the same image of his face that I tossed out a few minutes ago, and I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, oh, you dumb bastard. Yeah, I'm trying to do an entirely different approach than book one's cover, which was like, you know, Black Marrow's like very still. He's like stoic. It's like a pose. And for this one, I wanted to just be like everything's in motion, like he's, you know, the urgency of so now you see it in the configuration of the cover. He's going to be front and center, and then the back cover. Let me set up let me see. Now I want to see what the train looks like. I have to look up my drawings of the train. Make sure they're here. Maybe the train shouldn't be so huge in the image. I'm thinking maybe I should keep it small, keep the characters big. Or I should keep the train more in the back half. Thinking cap. Ryan, random question. How often do you go to the barber? Not often enough. My hair is unruly, I know. If that's the point you're making, I agree. Probably like once a month. I should be doing twice a month because my hair is just always a mess. It grows really fast, and I have a lot of gray hair, so it grows in like a really silly way. Yeah, no, you're right. The train is a little. It was too prominently featured. I do want it to be a big part of the cover, like bringing the front and back together. But I think it makes more sense for the train to be like here, and then to be like. And maybe like higher. So, because the train it's supposed to be like an abnormally huge train. So maybe it should be like that. Sorry guys, 1 second. Can always tell when it's going to be Canterbury because it's just huge. Just a huge person with a big old melon. Yes, Jacobo. This is my wraparound cover for book 2 of Black Mirror. Yeah, Canterbury's is fun when you put a gun in his hand and have him give the shoulder. He always looks snide. I can already tell I'm going to be putting a big ass smile on his face because he just enjoys carnage or chaos. Like Da Vinci saw a werewolf. That's high praise. Yeah, you already like this one more? Yeah, I think this is more what I wanted. Yeah, so now I can put the train starting like here on the back cover and have it feature more prominently like that. It actually makes more sense to face it the other way. It's also fun to have Black Mirror without his hat on the cover. Also, note, this is how I'm holding my pen when I'm sketching. I'm holding like back here to keep it loose. It's something I don't think everybody needs to do it, but it's something I recommend if you want to try this weird sketching style that I do that helps me keep it loose in the beginning. Ah, there, yes, it's coming together because now I can have the train continue this way, and then I get to have some of the windows in the background here so you still get a feeling that the train is a part of the image. This is what I wanted. I didn't want the train to just be in the back. It's got to be a part of the whole thing. But now, because I face it the other way, there it is. I can do that. I see now, oh, that makes me happy. I do wish that the layout would provide a circle from the wheels that could go right behind Black Mirror's head in some way to like tell the viewer, hey, look over here, but I can put a full moon in the sky behind them. Like here maybe, or maybe that's too cluttered. Maybe I should save it for the back. Actually, no, I like it over there. Oh, I'm so happy this is coming together. I couldn't figure out how to make the train fit without it fighting everything else. Next are the pants. Whose pants? And you see now I also have a light source, because a second light source, because this is this energy that blasts out of the top of the train, that they use it to like fend off the phantoms in the night when they're going through the dark territories. This like blast of light comes out, and I'm going to use that as a light source when I put the faces of the creepy guys here. I'm also going to put Mr. Hawthorne right there. My wife, I promise you, she can't wait for this book to be done, because she's so sick of staring at this character in particular. Pretty boy Ned with his third eye and his big bulbous brain. She's so tired of watching me draw him. She's just seen it so often. She's like, oh, this guy again. His like horrible ugliness. She's like, can't wait for me to move on. I don't know how to tell her. There's just way more. There's just more and more hideous stuff in our future. I just think she finds him particularly gross. which is, you know, what I wanted, so successful. Let me try, you know, instead of him looking at the camera, maybe I'll do him and his brother like roaring up at the sky, kind of. Yeah, no, I think that's going to be better. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can put Ned in front of the train, but behind Mr. Hawthorne, and still not lose the sensibility of the composition. I just feel like it needs more than just Ned's face. It needs the body to sell the horror and to like make the image feel complete, because I don't want it to be too many close-ups. We already have big old close-ups of just faces on the cover. And the reason they work is because you have Black Marrow and full body to balance out the composition. So in the back, it's like you need to have the creatures feature prominently so that it feels like, oh yeah, you know what, that could work. Because then Mr. Hawthorne is kind of like really vulnerable looking in front of them. And we like Mr. Hawthorne. You guys are going to love him. So you'll be worried for him, I promise. And then his brother now can fit neatly into this space, I think. And he's someone who I think a close-up of just his face would be perfect, actually. Because he has this like Cthulhu looking face, which I think by itself works, you know? Now let's see if I can keep that gun hand there without it fighting her hat at a tangent. It looks like it's going to, but I'm going to have to work around it. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I can be forgiven for such tangents. Such awful tangents. And we have our basic layout. Yeah, Jacobo, let's do that again. Let's try maybe next week. Tomorrow I have a stream with Dan, and then I wanted to have Gigi on again. In the next few days, but I think I can definitely have you on next week once, because my schedule this week is all tight with everybody who's already on. But yeah, let's do next week. Let's do maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday. Why spiders for the base? Does she mean why spiders for the win? Jacobo says, is this going to be painted? Yeah, I'm going to be painting this one. I'm going to try to do this kind of like how I did this cover. I'm going to take the same approach. I'm going to paint the whole thing. I think that could be really fun. What time? If it's Well, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's say maybe early. We'll do like early afternoon, late morning. Thanks, BB. So I'm pretty happy with this layout. It's a little cluttered right now. It feels like a little bit stuffed. Like this one, I don't know what it was with this one, but things came together. Like the characters have, everybody has space. Things aren't too cluttered. This one, it just feels like it's really cluttered. But I think in the next phase, things will get a little more separation, a little more depth of field. One hopes. $9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? I forgot, are you on the Eastern side, man? Chicobo? $9 a.m. is a little early for me because by the time I don't get home from driving my wife to work at that early. Alright, well, having this layout ready and done, I'm looking forward to getting back to it. We've been on for a couple hours. I think I'm going to chill out for the rest of the night and relax, lie down, read a little bit. $10 o'clock is probably better. Yeah, DM me about it. It's going to depend on whether or not it's Tuesday or Wednesday, but DM me and we'll do it. Oh, okay, Nim, you don't think it's too busy? It feels really busy. I mean, I'm going to do it. But I need to find a way to, even with this clutter, I have to find a way to, like, in rendering it, give the character space. Because in this one, it's like you got all this nice negative space for things to float a little bit, and you need the eye to be able to rest. Granted, Black Marrow just has more like built-in tension. It's meant to just be like uncomfortable sometimes, a little bit, but in a fun way. So I don't think the tension's not too big a problem, but you need to make sure everything. You want everything to work together in a nice, easy way, you know, even though they're all kind of floating in space a little bit. And I'm doing certain things to like let the audience know who's the most important person here, and it's this guy, obviously, Black Marrow, because if you look, there's nothing in front of Black Marrow. Everyone else gets overlapped in the collage, but even the flow of his cloak gets space. Nothing's in front of it. Because it's my way of saying, like, this is top dog. So, like, even the billowing of his cloak, it, like, takes prominence. Everybody steps behind it. But that's my way of making him important, even though his face is one of the smaller faces on the cover. Because, also, I mean, you know, he's a dude holding a scythe. and he has the face of a werewolf. I mean, he's going to catch your attention. But everybody else looks crazy, so it's also, you know. And the train is running through, connecting the front and back together. Yeah, I think this is closer to what I had imagined. Love it when a layout comes together like that. All right, guys. Let me do one last look at the chat. Oh, thanks, man. You guys have a great evening. I love you. This was a lot of fun. One of my favorite streams I've done in a while because I was enjoying what I was putting together, and I also just love talking to you guys. Thanks for showing up. Anybody who's dropping in after the fact, please give the video a like. It really helps me out. And yeah, you're the best. Good night, guys.